Welcome back, my horde. We don't have that much time because we've just been chatting off to the side about random other shit.
Yep.
That really wasn't really podcast related because Tammy didn't say a fucking word in the last 20 minutes. But
I said stuff.
I don't think she said anything for 20 minutes now. Anyway, joke just being. But yeah.
Still waiting for her to say something.
Funny.
But yeah, I just thought, because Chris is here, as obviously as you can see and hear, and he's got to go in 18 minutes or so.
Yeah, just under, yeah.
So at least, maybe we should record something. That way, at least we have that. He did come over exclusively to do this.
Yeah.
His daughter takes Taekwondo classes almost across the street from me. It's like three blocks.
Just like a couple blocks down the road.
It's across the street, but 3 blocks away. And yeah, so because of that, he's usually sits there and waits for her because it's only about an hour.
Yep.
So
sit in the truck, read a book, try not to freeze.
Yeah, because of
it's pretty damn cold out, especially if you're sitting in a truck, not doing anything.
Because of COVID.
Yeah.
You can't really go inside. You usually just sit inside and either watch or read a book.
Definitely don't watch.
Oh, you don't watch?
No, I do not watch. As a student myself, I cannot watch her. It just bugs me how, you're supposed to do something a certain way, and it's like the kids kind of can get away with being a little lazy about it. It's like, no, I understand if you physically can't do it, but when you're, for example, throwing a punch, they just kind of, It's like, no, do it properly.
Snap it. Snap that punch in. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Chris actually wanted me to go there when he first started going. And I was like, oh, maybe I will, because, at the time I was...
It was your idea. You're like, yeah, maybe. I'll kind of do it. And then, nah.
And then I found out I had to learn numbers in a different language. And I was like, nah.
It's not that hard.
I can barely know numbers in my own language.
He barely knows the alphabet in sign language. He knows one sentence.
I'm trying to learn a little bit of sign language.
Nice.
It's just because of the fact that if I can learn some sign language, me and Tammy can talk with our masks on without actually having to, constantly try to fix my mask.
Yep.
Because of the fact that I have a beard.
Yep.
It's really hard to get it underneath my chin.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't have as good of one as you do, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So that's one of the issues there. And yeah. It was also the fact that we want to start saying certain things about certain people, good and bad. It's not just bad about people while they're around, but without actually letting them know that we were talking about them. Like, hey, look at that girl. She's kind of cute, or frick, that person's a asshole, or whatever.
Yeah.
I did do a couple signs to my sister, and she doesn't like it. Because she knows what it means. It's basically the sign language for fuck and then bitch.
Oh, yeah.
So it's... I decided to Chris.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have some very interesting, not appropriate ones.
Yeah. No, what it is for... like in those old movies where the Italians would flip people off?
Yeah.
That's actually sign language. If you do it properly, it's sign language for fuck.
Yeah.
Because what
so
you
fuck you.
Yeah, that motion is fuck you.
Yeah. Because what it is their hand, they're putting it into the F.
Yep.
The letter F, yeah.
And then they go and brush against their chin and then point at the person. That's fuck you. So if you do that, and then you do the sign language for B and tap your chin, that's bitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fucking bitch. That's and I did that to my sister. I explained it to her what it was, and then I did it to her again while we were in the middle of Walmart. She's like, "Fuck you."
It's terrible because the only reason why we learned such things is because I wanted to learn some sign language at work so that I could talk to my coworker when clients weren't looking.
Yeah, like usually like, you know, yes or no, or
Yeah.
like, you know, stuff like that, or like, you know, when like like, you know, her one coworker will look at Tammy going like, is this guy being an asshole? And Tammy can agree
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, so like she has like kind of more permission to kind of tell the guy that he needs to, you know, be nicer, or they're not gonna do business with him. And she's always just needs that reassurance.
Yeah.
And like sometimes Tammy will say like, no, like you know, keep going. You know, he hasn't crossed that line yet, because her coworker is quick to want to, like, when as things are escalating, her coworker is quick to want to be out of it.
Yep.
Just because she's very non-confrontational.
Yeah, she's very quick to put her foot down, whereas I'm like, no, that's unacceptable. You can either calm down or you can leave.
Yep.
And I don't know why, but it seems to work when I do it, but when she does it, they just explode more, and I'm like...
And her coworker also has one of the issues that when I could be wrong, but it sometimes feels like when she goes home and she brings up her problems with her friends and stuff like that, her friends are those kind of friends that were like, oh yeah, you're totally in the right, which then eggs her on, making her think that she, you know, is doing something correct, even though like Tammy says, like sometimes like, no, you really just have to just suck it up, like,
yep.
You know,
yep.
He's not that bad.
Yep.
But and then last week, I guess I went to a birthday dinner for a friend. I won't say it's, I use it in quotation marks because of the fact that really it was just me, her, Tammy, but and it wasn't even her birthday. It was like 2 days after. But yeah, then we went back to her place, and I spent the next what was it, like 6 hours giving her relationship advice.
Yeah, we got to her place at like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
we didn't leave until like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But yeah. So basically I spent that much time, almost the entire time, giving her relationship advice. Because, you know, she has that problem, and I'm like, I can actually sit here and talk to you in person rather than via text. Oh yeah, you're getting everything now.
You're going to listen to me now.
I hope she actually listened. I really hope she listened, because some of it is really, you know, like I understand, like, you know, some people are like, oh well, everyone's different, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I got that, and like I got really won on some kind of lottery system here where I got Tammy. I don't know what kind of lottery system I won on. Besides her being an aggressive panda occasionally, she's never really aggressive towards me. And she's always usually pretty good with me. But the concept is that I can also still see certain problems that are arising with the one guy that she was wanting to be. Like, he's very toxic, and he's also very, like, manipulative and playing games. I'm like, that's not good for you. Like, I don't give a fuck how much good you have had with him. It doesn't outweigh all the bad you've had with him either.
Yeah.
And, yeah. You know, that's one of the things. Is like, a lot of people have that problem where it's like abusive relationships and stuff like that. You know, you just can't see outside of it, because you know, if you do see outside of it,
you're too close to it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you do see outside of it, you realize that you're in a shitty relationship, and then you're... Well, depression kind of kicks in sometimes, too.
Yep.
So, I totally understand that. Even in a good relationship, I still have depression.
Yeah.
Even when my life is more or less going okay, I still have depression.
Yep.
Luckily, it's not as bad as some people. Like, so I don't really think, like, you know, I need medication.
Yep.
But if it got worse, I probably would have started going towards medication. Man, you too. Like, you guys can't see this because honestly, you're not seeing faces. But holy shit, those two have yawned so many times.
I'm tired.
Like,
I'm just burned out.
I bet.
Too many hours.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that...
the next month is probably going to be pretty much the same. it's December that might change.
Only thing I can say is just, when you get that money.
I'm hoping that I'm going to get as much as I'm claiming.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm worried that because I did like 18 hours at the beginning of the month. Oh well, beginning of the month, beginning of the pay period, so that doesn't count.
Okay.
I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid that because last week, I think it was last week, I worked only 4 hours on the one day. That even though I worked 10 hours on my 6th day, they're only going to say, well, no, that doesn't count as overtime because you didn't work 40 hours before this time.
Yeah.
So really, I'll be down for like another 4 hours on top of that. So I'm looking at out of 31 hours that I've claimed, I'm afraid that I'm going to lose 22.
Yeah, see, that would be weird because from what I understand of it, I don't know how your pay periods work, so that's one of the problems. But from what I remember, it's within a 7-day period, which is like whenever the week starts for you guys and ends for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
If you work more than 40 hours, that's overtime.
Yes.
And on top of that, if you work any day,
more than 8, then it's overtime. Yes.
Yeah. So those two things should always keep an account. And the only thing that he could argue at the beginning there, like you're saying, is that, but I still think that wouldn't work because that's still 12 hours that's within a week period that doesn't count.
Mm-hmm. Because our pay periods basically start at the beginning of the month.
Mm-hmm.
We get paid twice a month, only on like the middle of the month, 15th-ish, and the end of the month. That's basically our pay period. So technically, our period started on the 1st. Even though I worked 7 days that week, I only worked, two days.
But the problem is the fact that, at least from what I remember, I haven't worked in quite some time, but there's a cutoff.
The cutoff would be the end of the month.
That doesn't make sense. Because that's not how it's supposed to work.
How is it not supposed to work that way?
Because it's supposed to the cutoff is supposed to be a few days before the end of the month. Because if you get paid on the 1st, they can never make sure that you're actually supposed to be there on the 30th or the 29th or the 28th. So it's usually like
our boss, the way we are paid is we are paid for that month. So let's say like he already took the schedule back, so he's looking at our hours and whatever else. So if I get paid, I'm getting paid tomorrow. I will be paid for working Sunday.
Yeah, that's weird.
Even if I don't work Sunday, I'll have still gotten paid for it.
Yeah, see, that's him being stupid then.
That's however they drawn up the contract when he started work.
Yeah, but that means that they're theoretically, if his boss were to do all the paperwork up on the 25th, and Chris just didn't work for the rest of the month, he would get paid for those 5 extra days, and would never have to return to work. But then his boss could sue him.
Well, I don't think he'd sue me. He definitely wouldn't be impressed. And he'd probably take it off my next month's check.
Unless you never showed up again, I mean, like...
Oh, yeah, I mean, if I just quit on the spot.
Yep. That's the kind
he wouldn't sue me. He would just, that'd be a loss or whatever.
No, because theoretically, in his argument, it could be a breach of contract, but...
That's the dangerous part about those kind of jobs.
But that's the way I get paid. Like, I'll get paid on the 20...
Then theoretically, that would be...
29th for us.
Yeah, 29th.
Oddly enough, then that would make it basically... The way that he's set it up, which, again, I don't know if it's correct. That may be not even correct to begin with. But it could be that he now argues that your pay period starts on Wednesday. If that's where the 1st is.
My pay period starts on the 1st.
Yeah, which is what, like, let's say the Wednesday. So it'd be the concept that every Wednesday would be your week cycle.
Except that it would change for each month.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. The way he does it, I don't think it's the way it's supposed to be done.
No, I think ours, the start of our week is either, Sunday or Monday. But again, we only get paid for the month.
Yes, but then if it was that way, if you are going with the concept that you're set that Monday is your restart period every time, then even if the month changes, it's still within that thing, and then by law, I'm pretty sure he has to pay you.
No, I don't think so.
I do.
I would just calculate however your hours would be with the least amount of pay coming out of it, and that's what I would bank on. Because then if you get anything more, then you're like, woohoo!
Well, my boss doesn't have a problem paying the overtime.
No,
Like, that is one good thing about this job over my previous job, where they will fucking screw you overtime as much as they can. So my boss doesn't have a problem. Like, when he told me I'm working 6 days a week, it's like, because at that point, it would already been 6 days. The next day, would being a Tuesday, would have been my 7th day. And I told him that's 7 days. That's fine.
Yeah. See, then I won't, like I said, I would just go with the concept that I'm pretty sure that it is supposed to be like a rule where if his cutoffs, like, that's what I'm trying to say. That's why usually when you do end of the month stuff like that, it's usually that they have a cutoff a certain amount of days before. So that way that is always the cutoff. Like, for example, let's say that, you did do the first being your thing.
Yep.
I think like, the few days before get moved over the next check is how it's I think like Tammy
maybe it's supposed to be, but that's not the way we do it.
Because then what happens is then you're in that cutoff period.
Yeah.
But
like I said, with the way we are, it is literally we are paid for the month from the 1st to the end of the month, 30, 31st, whatever.
But yeah, I don't know.
That's his problem. Not yours.
No, it is his problem because
it's the employer's problem because that's the way he wanted to do it, so that's the way he has to.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, like I said, that's my biggest concern is I'm just worried that they're going to cut off my 22 hours of overtime or whatever just because of the way this is the beginning of the month. You don't it doesn't count. You worked only 4 days this week, so it's not 40 hours until you hit 40 hours.
Yeah.
And then you get overtime after that. So.
I don't know. I would calculate how much you'd be getting for 40 hours. Like, calculate what your hours would normally be.
Yep.
that
would be what you get paid for. And then whatever you have over that is what I would calculate as overtime.
Yeah, like I said, that's why what the system he does is kind of confusing because theoretically he could have you work, if the end of the month was Monday, is your starting, like, starting whatever, and you work from Monday to Friday, that's 5 days.
Yep.
And then the Saturday is the first, and he makes you work from Saturday to fucking another
Saturday
Wednesday
too. Yeah.
That's, another 5 days. He's like, oh, no, but you work 10 days straight. It's. Yep. I've seen people do that before.
Yep.
I've seen places do that before because it's their cutoff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Employers are weird.
Yeah. But, like, I was going to say, we're going to cut it here because he's looking at the clock going, I gotta go.
Yep. I gotta go pick my kid up.
So, okay, we'll just, bye. See you guys. Fuck off. Bye-bye.